In contrast to EU lenders' opinion, Greece Finance Minister believes the debt-stricken country may avoid a worrisome budget gap and that economic risks have abated. But is this optimism warranted? Joining me down the line to share his insights is Athanasios Vamvakidis. Thanos, Yanis Stournanas has said the biggest challenge ahead was mainly a political one tied to austerity fatigue. Would you agree that this will be the main hurdles for the Greek economy to overcome moving forward?
This is definitely an important factor. The coalition government, since it got elected a year ago, it has strengthened program implementation. However, there are still very important reforms that are ahead, politically very difficult reforms, which are very important also for the prospects of the recovery of the Greek economy. From this point of view, political stability is extremely important for the government to continue implementing the program. And political risks are important because we have seen the government losing parliamentarians with every difficult parliamentary vote. If this coalition government cannot survive, an election will increase political instability in Greece and could put the program in risk, as indeed happened in the last election last summer. So from this point of view, the minister is right that political stability might not be a sufficient condition, but is absolutely a necessary condition.
The finance minister said if we have a positive growth rate for 1 or 2 quarters and at the same time have a primary surplus, then anything is possible, even to tap markets next year. He also added that any shortcomings will be rectified with reform. But are these goals achievable?
Well, he may be too optimistic, but definitely for the program to work, they need to see some signs of recovery. For most of the life of the program, Greece has been in a bad equilibrium in which the recession has been much worse than projected. As a result, the debt dynamics were getting worse, and also investor confidence was deteriorating, and in a vicious cycle, the recession was becoming even worse. If we're in a situation in which we start seeing some positive growth, the fiscal numbers start looking better, this could create a positive momentum, and taking into account the very low base effect, given how much the economy has collapsed, you could have growth surprising in few quarters, which then can create a situation in which more investment come in, and there is a positive momentum that also strengthens program implementation. So from this point of view, the projected recovery that is supposed to start next year, very gradual, but for the first time in 6 years it will be positive growth, is extremely important, is a must.
Greece has been given the latest tranche of aid from Europe to keep the country afloat by agreeing to pay their bills. But how long can it last? Isn't the EU Rescue Programme Fund in danger of running out? EU officials say no, but if Greece doesn't get growth moving more quickly, do you believe this could become a problem?
Something that is actually important to emphasize is that the Europeans have promised to Greece that as long as Greece implements the program, if more money is needed, the Europeans will provide it, and if the debt dynamics turn out to be unsustainable, they will agree on measures to reduce the debt burden from Greece. So even though politically it is sometimes difficult for the European authorities to admit such a promise, this is something that is a done deal. They have promised it, and is very clearly written in all the IMF documents. For sure, politically it will become easier to approve additional funding for Greece and even more partial debt forgiveness if Greece implements the program. So from this point of view, we go back into the political situation. It is extremely important for the Greek government to be able to implement the very important reforms looking forward, which not only will improve the chances for the eventual recovery, but it will also make it politically easier for the rest of the Eurozone to continue supporting Greece and to provide even more support if needed.
And finally, coming back to the markets, given this renewed optimism for the Greek economy in Athens at least, how do you expect bonds to perform? Is Greek debt a good bet at present?
First, for Greece to come back to the market is something that is still long way far, given the level of the debt at this point. Most likely is something in the longer term if Greece succeeds to implement the program. As it concerns government bonds at this point, they have performed very well since the last year, since the elections. It is one of the best performing assets actually. Looking forward, I will argue that they still offer value because most of the Greek debt, almost 80%, is owed to the official sector. From this point of view, if there is a need for another debt haircut, it will not be in the private sector, it will be in the official sector, particularly taking into account that most of the Greek bonds, if not all of them, after the PSI, they are under international law, which makes them much more difficult to restructure. So the only scenario actually in which the Greek bonds will not be repaid, it's a complete disaster scenario in which Greece defaults and exits the Eurozone, and the probability of this scenario has been reduced substantially at this point. Risks are not zero, but still, given the trade-offs, we believe that the Greek bonds still offer good value at these levels.
Well, that's all from Thanos and myself, but the TV team has much more to bring you, so please do keep clicking back to the website. Goodbye for now.